bought myself a little silver dollar, 1888 silver dollar, just as a memento from doing the book. But everybody else in here is somebody I knew, except the women.
Yeah.
Now, the reason for that is that I didn't put any women into the image that I knew, because women who attended ball games in 1888 were, shall we say, considered of loose moral character.
Oh.
And so I did not want anybody to take offense at the fact that, I had, whether I was making some social commentary as to what their social character was. And actually, the guy in the white coat, out of everybody else who's in a gray coat,
yeah,
the guy in the white coat, or I should say tan coat, was the meter reader man. And I'd run out of people who I knew to put heads on, except this is taken after a famous Fitzwillie, one of John Kennedy's famous relatives, throwing a ball out.
Yeah.
But the meter reader man showed up, and I said, "Quick, please put on this hat so I can finish this illustration." And he put on the hat. I took the picture. Probably sold another book.
Nice.
But got finished with the illustration. And the other thing is, with all of the stuff that's on top of the illustrations, there are actually illustrated stuff under that. I did the illustrations before we started putting stuff on top of it.
Right.
And I calculated out after the book was finally published that I probably could have not illustrated between a quarter and a third of the book.
Wow.
Just for what was covered up. So
what's all this that's covering up the picture as well? That's are people tossing?
Oh yes, he's tossing up like tickets because they're so fed up. They think they're about to strike out.
Yeah.
They're giving up the game, and so I was adding little bits of things that weren't in the original photograph.
Got it.
So, and then
I like that guy's mustache. That's a very solid, manly.
Two of my best friends growing up.
Nice.
And actually mentioned, I put their names down in the corner. Scott's in the previous one. That's T and B, which is Ted and Brian DeWan, which are brothers.
Forever embedded in the grains of time.
What's really funny is a guy I actually put a name in because when I was experimenting, trying to figure out how I was going to do the double print on making it look like newsprint, I was going down to Kinko's, and this guy was usually in there at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'd just be sitting there trying to figure out how to do this and running through a few experimental sheets through and talking. And I must have spent about a month with the guy, a month of evenings over the course of about 6 months, literally, in the course of a month, about 7 nights. And I'd buy him coffee because he was doing the overnight, and we'd talk, and his name is in there, in the book. Really, if people are helping me out with the book, I always felt like you should get some identification and credit for the effort.
So it says here, the former was a Lulu, the latter was a cake. What's Lulu and what's cake?
Those were expressions for anything you want to consider effeminate. All of the text is literally the text that was, in the original printing of the San Francisco Examiner, June 3rd, 1888. And a Lulu and a cake were just basically other names for like wussies. These guys are just going to get up there to bat and they're going to completely fan out, and everybody's going, "Oh no, we're going to lose the game." So, and I did not. I only made my best friends in that position, not because they're Lulus and cakes, but because I really wanted them to stand out. So I have to say that I complained to each of them because they've each done their own books that. At no point in any of their books do I actually appear, even as a background